This is the Kick-Ass Geek Cast, and I am your host, Daddy Warpig. I am back. All right, Kick-Ass Geek Cast for November 10th, 2014, broadcasting as always from our secret bunker deep underneath the House of Geekery, where you can read me, Daddy Warpig, my blog, one awesome geek-oriented post every single day, daddywarpig.com, or if you want the stream of consciousness version of the Kick-Ass Geekcast and the House of Geekery, check us out on Twitter at daddy_warpig, at daddy_warpig. As always, a massive show for you today. And so we are going to get right down to it. I have got some good news for me, some great news for me. I was able to finally go down to the Apple Store today and get a brand new iPhone 6 Plus. And I'm here to tell you sincerely, most completely sincerely, that is a big ass phone. I have not ever owned a phone that big before in my entire life. It is a slab of metal and glass. It is massive, but at the same time, the screen is vibrant and gorgeous, and the keys that you can type with are much bigger, which, because I spend so much of my time even away from my computer monitoring Twitter and tweeting, makes it a great deal. So the bad thing is I have to get used to having this big ass phone in my I'm not a small man, okay? I'm not as big as some men, but I personally am not a short, tiny-handed man who has trouble palming a golf ball, okay? I'm pretty big. I am large and muscular and manly, and yet at the same time, I can barely hold an iPhone 6 Plus in my hand. It's really disconcerting. I've got it for a month. If for whatever reason I decide that it's not working out, I can take it back and switch to the other iPhone 6. But I want to keep this one because apparently the battery life is like a million times better, which for a person who spends as much of my time away from my computer monitoring Twitter and tweeting is absolutely critical. So that was my morning, which is why I did not spend all day keeping up with the news and preparing for this show. I'm sorry. You can scorn me later. Here's the thing. I didn't have to, because for whatever reason, the universe loves me. The universe woke up this morning and jumped right out of bed and said, hey, you know what I want to do today? I want to make it much easier for Daddy Warpig to do his show. So we're going to do everything we can to bring him mounds and mounds of material for when he goes on the air. And I want to thank the universe for that, as well as for my brand new iPhone. Now, today, I want to start with a plea. I want to start with a request. I want to start with asking for your help. One of our earliest founders, the most important early founder in Gamergate. This is the person who came up with the idea for the Not Your Shield hashtag. All right? Did not send the first tweet with it, but came up with the idea for it. And because of his activism, he is, as you might guess, he's not white. He came up with Not Your Shield because he's a black man who lives in Detroit. One of the consequences of helping out with this crusade against corrupt journalism is that he lost his job and has been forced to, he's been impoverished greatly. Now, I tweeted something about this earlier. He did not know about it. He has nothing to do with it. He does not know that I am saying this on the show. What I am asking for, if you can, is to go to his YouTube channel where he posts videos about Gamergate. Watch a couple of videos. If you like him, if you think he did a good job, then send a couple of dollars his way via the links he's got. I'm calling this Operation Tip Your Server because this is not charity. You're not giving him anything. You are tipping him the same way you would tip a waiter or the same way you would tip a taxi cab driver. If you think he's doing a good job with his YouTube videos about Gamergate, if you think he's performing a worthwhile service to the community of pros, tip him a couple of bucks, $1 or $2. You know, help him out. If several people helped him out, he would have enough money. At one point, he was talking about getting his water turned back on. I mean, this is serious, actual problems. And I'll put the link in the comments. I'm just requesting that you take a look. If you like him, tip him a couple of bucks. Tip your server. That's it. Nothing big. I'm not asking you to throw hundreds of dollars. If you want to, that's your choice. I'm okay with that. Tip your server. That's what this operation is. Help out a fellow Gamergate pro who is being unduly punished for standing up for ethics in journalism. Speaking of ethics in journalism, this segment I'm going to call Stupid People. Now, just by the very title, you might be sitting here thinking, oh, it's obvious. It's obvious. It's obvious who he's going to be talking about. He's going to be talking about, dun, da, 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 the full Macintosh. No, actually, I'm not. Oddly enough, surprisingly enough, when the universe got out of bed this morning and decided it wanted to make my life easier so I could go buy my new phone, oddly enough, the universe delivered a heaping helping of idiots, and not a single one of them were Macintosh. I know, it astounded me as well, and yet here we are. So we're going to start off Stupid People with Matty Bryce, who is coincidentally a judge for the Independent Games Festival. And Kay Rosen was kind enough to gather together a bunch of choice quotes that I'm going to read in an overly dramatic voice so that you can truly understand what a tragedy happened this weekend. Matty Bryce. Hashtag 3 words she wants to hear. Kill all men. Matty Bryce. I get to decide things and you don't. Sad face for your entire life. You're upset that I have power and you have none. Go back to your hashtag and pretend you are important. Don't worry, soon all of Blizzard will be my cuckolds, and even WoW will be completely pink and will ban all men. Oh well, hope you like video games because they are all going away. Now I've already talked to Obama about it. Too bad you wish you could have decent games, but instead I prefer shitty games with trimming. Because you see, I run the entire thing, have so since the beginning. Don't worry, GGers. I'm laughing because there's one of these I'm just going to skip. I'll plop the link in. You can read it later. Don't worry, GGers. Every single game that has anything involving a man will definitely be nuked in the IGF. I have that power, most deaf. I bet everyone's so defensive today about Blizzard isn't getting harassed like me right now. GGers are so upset, I'm an IGF judge. Judging IGF games now and automatically rating low any games with men in them, loving all this power. Now, the Independent Gaming Festival, there is some controversy as to this point, whether she invited herself off or the Independent Gaming Festival invited her off. Either way, she was originally out, and then a bunch of SJWs threw a hissy fit. And you know what that looks like if you've seen an SJW throw a hissy fit. They drop on the floor, they pound their hands and knees against the floor, and they whine and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine until they get their way. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. Ben Kuchera. My mentions are now Gamergate celebrating how IGF News handled this, so I'm getting off social media for a bit. Brendan Keogh just emailed the IGF to say I'm not doing any more judging until they apologize to Maddie, and I implore other judges to do the same. Christine Love, I will definitely not be doing any judging for the IGF until they've apologized to Maddie. What a horrible thing to do to someone. Leigh Alexander. In a way, I feel sorry for these GG kids. It must be really painful to feel like everyone is laughing at you and no one is listening. A new tactic of the dangerous, hateful right wing is to take a person's social media profile wildly out of context to rationalize attack. And last but not least, Elizabeth Simmons. Hey, newsflash, IGF. Sexism against men isn't a real thing. Responding seriously to allegations from GGers makes you look like shit. Pounding their hands and feet against the floor and crying like 3-year-olds. The SJWs whined and whined and whined. And shock of all shocks, the IGF caved. So the woman who said 3 words, she wants to kill all men, is back in. That's what your weekend was. People saying, oh, hey, that seems unreasonable. We don't want to do that. SJW are saying, oh, how dare you do that? We're so angry, we're so angry, we're so angry. And them saying, oh, okay, we'll let her back in, I guess. Third-party trolls did it. It wasn't really us. Yeah, I'm phrasing their voice that way because I have good evidence from this specific event that their balls haven't dropped yet. So that's why I am using that particular voice. So that's a big bundle of stupid. Oh, you see what I'm saying? That was a big bundle of stupid, just all rolled up and waiting on my doorstep when I opened the door this morning. It's like, wow, that's a bunch of stupid. But wait, there's more. Oh, yeah, I'm not done. I wish I was done. Heck, I wish I didn't have to start. What I'm going to pause here for just a second to express some confusion. We're asking for people who cover video games to not accept bribes, okay? To not collude on suppressing certain stories and boosting other stories, to not use reviews as ammunition to push your ideology on us, and to stop abusing your customers. That's what we're asking for. That's not an insane list of demands or requests. That's pretty standard in most industries. Most people who run a business don't wake up in the morning and say, you know what I want to do today? I want to take a massive dump on all my customers. And yet, that's what the game journalism industry has done. Massive dump on customers. Why? Who knows? I can't believe when I sit back and think about this, when I pull back from the day-to-day of being involved in pro ethics, pro gaming, pro gamers, being involved with all you other people in this leaderless consumer revolt against corrupt and unethical journalism, I just can't understand what is wrong with these people. I can't even express it in words, and that's kind of my thing, you know? To be so blatantly, defiantly, openly, abusively corrupt. And I included all of those adjectives for the exact same reason, for good reason, because they're all true. I don't understand it. Where these people went wrong, why they went so barking mad, what they think they're doing, what they think they're succeeding at doing, other than destroying games journalism. So the next piece in this stupid people collage is a person by the name of Holly Ween. She is an editor at GamerRanks, which apparently there's like 5 people there. They have one editor-in-chief and one editor. I don't know the hell the other 3 people do, but that's a lot of people in leadership roles over there. Coincidentally, the editor-in-chief, your friend and mine, okay, I'm lying about that, Ian Miles Chung, the Asian white supremacist. God, I wish that were a joke. I wish that were something I was making up, but it's actually really, honest to God, true. The man who said, Hitler is my fucking idol, that's a direct quote, that's why I swore, apologies, runs GamerRanks, is Holly Ween's boss. So the next candidate on stupid people is Holly Ween. She said earlier today on Twitter, almost an hour ago, not even quite yet an hour, would you try to fix that? Would you try to fix a toaster simply because you used one once? No. Then that's why shut the fuck up about ethics and games journalism unless you're a games journalist. You want me to read that again, don't you? Because that just flipped right past. That was so much concentrated stupid. It was like a bullet of stupid, and it flitted right past, shot right past, and you didn't have a chance to catch all the stupid. That's why shut up about ethics in games journalism unless you are a games journalist. Yes, that's right. You as consumers have no right to request ethical games journalists. And again, this is from a woman who works for a neo-Nazi or a former neo-Nazi, all right? Lecturing us on ethics. So if you're a consumer, you have no right to complain about video games ethics. If you're a member of the FTC, you have no right to investigate charges of corruption. If you're a politician, you have no right to make laws about corruption. If you're an advertiser, you have no right to have an opinion on the subject. You must give them your money, because unless you're a games journalist, you have no right to have an opinion about games journalism. So you want to know why, like I want to know why, this thing has gone on for edging towards 3 months now, 2.5 months. It's because of people like this who think you have no right to your opinion. But wait, there's more. A gentleman by the name of Rami Ismail, whom I don't know. I haven't read extensively, so I don't have a background the way I do about the neo-Nazi and his minion. He said this 2 hours ago. You see how up-to-date I am, how cutting edge this show is? I'm bringing you news that broke less than an hour ago and less than 2 hours ago. You are right on the bleeding edge with this broadcast. Rami Ismail. Finally, there are still so few of ethical problems in game journalism. Games should be judged along socio-political thematics too. I think he meant thematics, but the word is thematics. I'm going to excuse that because I'm guessing, and this is not a joke, this is not meant to be mean. I'm not trying to pick at him here. The slight awkwardness in his phrasing and writing leads me to suspect that English is a second language, so I'm going to excuse minor niggles, all right? I don't want to pick on them for that, for ephemeral things when there's so much substance we can pick on right here. So, this person believes that there are no problems, no ethical problems in video games journalism. I would refer them to all of the Breitbart emails, all of the Games Journal Pros emails that were leaked to Milo Yiannopoulos over at Breitbart. Even Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia, says they constitute clear evidence of corruption. Everybody says that because everybody's read that because it's frickin' true. They laugh about taking bribes from companies. They laugh about being sexually involved with PR people or prostitutes hired by PR people or people they're covering or will be covering in the near future. These are jokes to them. Bribery is commonplace and accepted. Collusion is commonplace and accepted. And let me say this to make a bold declaration and apparently stand out from the crowd when I say that bribing someone is wrong. It is corruption. It is corrupt. And accepting a bribe is wrong and corrupt. And it goes on so often, they openly joke about it. So when Rami Ismail says, hey, man, there's no problem here, he's lying. It's not true. There's a big-ass problem here. And everybody knows it. Everybody who has a minimum basic amount of information knows it. And that's just the first sentence of the stupid. Let's go to the next sentence of the stupid. Games should be judged along socio-political thematics too. Which means, translating that into English, gaming news and gaming reviews should be vehicles of indoctrination and propaganda. You should promote games that support my political views, and you should slam games that do not support my political views. That's it. That's what he means. It's perfectly okay, he's saying, for video games to be judged on their ideological content. Well, I said this on Saturday, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will make clear the central thrust of my thesis. It's this. When you are an outlet, either a magazine that gets printed physically or a website, you have a choice to decide what your primary motivation is. Is your primary motivation to be a political website, or is your primary motivation to be a gaming website? You must make your choice. Because if you are one, you cannot also be the other. They are mutually exclusive, because sooner or later there will come a conflict between covering the news, between reviewing honestly, and pushing your politics. You'll find a game that's a crappy game that pushes the right politics, and you'll have to make a decision. Do I tell the truth about this game, even though I like its politics? Or do I lie about the quality of the game so I can get other people to be influenced by its politics? That moment will come sooner or later for everyone. And if you have established your gaming site to be ideological, we know what you're going to answer because we've read it, right? We've read video game mags, video game sites that lie about the quality of a game to push its politics, or lie about the quality of a game because they hate its politics or ideology or whatever. These people, including Rami Ismail, think that politics should and must be the primary and almost sole means of judging a video game, and that's good, and that's right, and that's mandatory. I disagree. The purpose of video games journalism is not to inculcate people in your politics. It's to inform the consumer. Period. That's it. No asterisks. But that's not what they want. They want journals that are political. They want journals that are propaganda, because that's what propaganda is. Media that pushes the ideological line. They want journals and games that are indoctrination, that push the proper politics. And if they are not, then they are, well, let me ask you, members of the pros, people who are pro-ethics, pro-gamer, pro-gaming, if you disagree with their ideology, if you disagree with their politics, what do you think they will do? I mean, after all, it's possible we've had a recent long-term example of good, decent people who disagreed with indoctrination, who disagreed with propaganda, who disagreed with collusion and bribery. And how have they treated you? Do you think they're going to be any more kinder, gentler, or honest if there had been no pro-revolt? How do you think they would treat developers, publishers, and video games and their audience if they had the power to shut you up? Which is what they want, which is what they try constantly. New gambits to disqualify your opinion, new gambits to shut you up. That's the stupid contained in this second sentence. Now, I had one more bit of stupid that I can't, well, you know what? I'll push it just a touch. Laura GGX says, there are no women in Gamergate. By the way, this was said about 5 hours ago. Candace McCartney replied, nope, no women at all. Liz F. already apologized for her manliness. Laura GGX says, you define women differently. Those attacking feminism aren't women or human. And based Liz F. said, did you seriously just revoke my women card for being egalitarian? All right, so that question I was asking just a minute ago, what do you think they would do if they had the power? There it is. Shut you up, silence you, disqualify you from having an opinion. They want you to go away so they can do their political thing their political way. And we're fighting to keep creativity in games. We're fighting to keep artistic freedom in games. We're fighting for honest games journalism. But you must realize that on the other side, they're fighting for their totalitarian, dictatorial, coercive hold on the media. And that's why they're so bitter, and that's why they're so hateful, and that's why they're so angry. They see you as the enemy, and they see you as being evil. I am Daddy Warpig. This is the Kick-Ass Geek Cast for Monday, November 10th, 2014. I will drop all the links in the comments. Remember, Operation Tip Your Server. Help out Polar Roller. Help out Jay Miller Works. Take a look at his YouTube videos. If you like him, tip him a couple of dollars. It is not charity. It is a gratuity. Help someone who lost their job, who founded Not Your Shield, started and founded Not Your Shield, and lost their job because of it and is becoming impoverished because of it. Help them out. You can read me online, daddywarpig.com, daddywarpig.com. That's the House of Geekery. Or follow me on Twitter at daddy_warpig, at daddy_warpig. I am your host, Daddy Warpig, and signing off for tonight, I will be back.